right when my business started, I had people approaching us. Oh, Sandra, we want to do this. We want to tell this story. We want to tell that story. And there's so many stories that we have produced over the years that I'm very, very proud of, actually.
Chilliwack Creative Commission is gratefully located on the traditional unceded territory of the Stalo people and the Coast Salish peoples. Live from Studio C, this is the Chilliwack Creative Commission's Creative Third Thursdays. I'm Jeff Edwards. I am an actor, voice actor, and creative project production partner, and I'm building a collection of short versions of these episodes, the long ones that we run from Studio C's YouTube channel. And I'm building, going through and cherry-picking really good things, and we're trying to build this community using the hashtag Creative Chilliwack. So if you get on YouTube, I'd really appreciate it if you would go on and check them out, just see what we're doing here. So the shorts are kind of a primer. If you're thinking about joining our studio audience at Creative Third Thursdays, tickets are free. They're at creativethirdthursdays.com. And what do you guys think of Creative Third Thursdays and free beer? They like it. So we're at Co-work Chilliwack's amazing Studio C. And Studio C is the creation of a guy named Tim McAlpine. Let's thank the man behind Studio C at Co-work Chilliwack. So that's the intro. Let's do it. Let's meet this month's featured creative.
Our guest today is deeply committed to sharing vital Indigenous stories. After graduating from the top of her class at BCIT's Television Broadcasting Program, she returned to Chilliwack. Armed with experience as a writer and producer for ITV and the Super Channel, she founded Bare Image Productions. Her many credits include directing the acclaimed documentary Kidnapped Stalo Boys, one of the docs featured at Chilliwack Independent Film Festival. She's building a catalog of content on YouTube and is archiving historical footage her team has gathered. Beyond film, she served her people as a Tzeachten First Nation counselor and champions arts and culture as a member of the Chilliwack Cultural Center's board. She's a member of the Chilliwack Creative Commission. Please give a warm welcome to this month's featured creative, Sandra Bonner Pederson.
Hello. Oh, I thought I was going to trip. Oh.
You didn't trip.
I didn't trip, but I just
did a good job.
Okay. All righty.
So welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
I know, this is you're so used to being the other side of the camera.
I know, I really am. Yes, and I told you that.
I know. And that's not uncommon. People are like uncomfortable on one side of the camera, and it's this side.
Yes, it's this side.
But
you can't make me look good.
You're such an interesting person in the community, and you've got such a huge volume of work that you've done, and you're just. I couldn't wait to get you on and have this discussion and have you as one of our featured creatives. So one of the things I always ask people is, tell me about the moment where you thought, okay, I'm going to start my own production company. I'm going to do this.
Well, I mean, it started a very long time ago. I was the host of a program called Rebirth of a Nation. Anyone watch it? No. It was on Shaw Cable 10 way back in the day, and they had asked me to host this program. I had been in theater. I was an actress. I was actually going to head towards acting, but I knew there probably wasn't any money in acting, which is unfortunate. But so I decided to host this program, but I was really uncomfortable in front of the camera. I really am uncomfortable in front of a camera. So I had asked the lady who was producing the show, which I knew very well. I said, how did you do what you're doing? How do you, shoot this and edit this and get this all together? So she told me what to do. So I gathered the prerequisites, and more beer, prerequisites, and I decided to try and apply it at BCIT to get into the industry, to come back and help my friend with Rebirth of a Nation through the Coquitlam Cultural Center. Well, after I had graduated from the program, unfortunately, the program had no longer existed because the funding had run out and stuff like that. So I knew one day I'd really like to try and start my own program. Well, I ended up going to ITV in Edmonton. And
this was after BCIT.
Well, at BCIT, after I graduated from BCIT, top of my class. After I graduated from BCIT, I was going to do a practicum up in the Yukon, actually. And then they said that CBC is actually laying off people, so it wouldn't look good having a practicum student up there. So I almost ended up in the Yukon. Instead, my second choice was in Edmonton. And I started doing this, I was doing a maternity leave or whatever, right? Like I did my month practicum, and then they hired me on as a full-time member as a promotional writer in news. And it was so funny because I remember talking to my copyright teacher at BCIT and saying, when am I ever going to use this? I don't want to be a writer. I want to be a shooter. I want to be an editor. But, you know, it's lucky that I did get that position because it was just something to add to everything that added up to where I ended up today. Because I was writing, I was editing. The only thing I wasn't doing was shooting. They had me doing some stuff in front of the camera again, but I was inside a suit, so it didn't matter. I was a big bear. And it was great. I thought, no one knows me. This is great.
You know, you don't have to give us every single detail.
But anyway, so once I started doing this at ITV, I was working there, and I ended up meeting someone in Edmonton, dragging them back to BC. But out there, we ended up having my daughter, Samantha, and I wanted Samo to be brought up around my mom. So that was going to bring us back here. And that's what kind of guided me towards the fact that, you know, that Rebirth of a Nation was an awesome program. It started teaching me my culture because I was never brought up in my own culture because of things that happened in the past. But I started learning more about my culture from that show, not knowing anything. And so I decided, you know, maybe I should try and start my own video production company. So I remember sitting down, starting to write this business plan. Ooh, name, easy. Address. Then I started going, like there's so many pages. Yeah. So I ended up getting a hold of Stellar Nation, who helped me. The Paula Cramner Underhill was a great person who helped me write my business plan. And with this business plan, I took it in, and she couldn't believe how many people helped me, you know, start this industry. Because when I sat down with her, I said, I think I need about $20,000 to start my business. And she's looking at me thinking, you need way more than that. Right? But I had no idea. All I was thinking was camera, edit suite, right? But there are so many other things that I didn't think of, like, you know, pens, pencils, papers, computers, admin thing. You know, like there's just so many things that I didn't even think of. Mm-hmm. So Paula helped me out with that. And so we wrote a really good business plan. And we did end up getting some really incredible grants. And and then my husband built this studio on the back for me. And I started my business. And I started pulling in my nieces to come and work for me. One right out of Burger King. And then my other niece had taken some courses in high school, and she came fresh out of high school and started working for me. So I have been in business since 2002, and yeah, we're just flying, as you can see.
So to me, it's like, I think, would it be accurate to say that you really are the visual voice of your community? I mean, you're so prolific. You've got so much content out there.
Well, you know, and that was another reason why I wanted to do this. I wanted to be a voice for our people. I wanted to start that rebirth of a nation. I wanted people to know the different things that had happened to our First Nation people in this territory, because to be perfectly honest, I didn't even know. I never learned anything in school like that. I was brought up Walitum, which is white in Helkamalum. I was brought up as a white person because my mother was told she was not an Indian, which is what they called you back then. Now we're First Nations, Indigenous. But she was told back then that she was not a First Nation person. because she married a white man. So, so I was brought up off the reserve. I was brought up away from my culture. And when I started doing this Rebirth of a Nation, wow, I just couldn't believe some of the stories that were told to me about residential schools, the weaver that we talked to, and, the different things that, Mom was not allowed to do or say, So, So I think it was important to start this and get the word out there. And right when my business started, I had people approaching us. Oh, Sandra, we want to do this. We want to tell this story. We want to tell that story. And there's so many stories that we have produced over the years that I'm very, very proud of, actually, that I can be that voice and learning at the same time, really.
Well, that's what makes it so such good television. When you're the producer are learning about it, and you gain knowledge. Oh, I've got to share this. This is like, right? I mean, it stimulates you to do it more.
Yes,
I think, right?
Definitely.
So looking back, I'd like to talk a little bit about sort of the business side of it. What choices, obviously. Ms. Underhill was a significant choice that you made. Mm-hmm. What other choices that you can look back on and go, that was smart, and I'm glad we did that?
Well, I know there was a time when people said, "Oh, you know what? Just rent all your gear and stuff, right? Like, don't buy it, just rent it, and then that way, when it gets outdated, I'm glad I didn't go that avenue." Because I think it would have been hard to decide, how many hours am I going to need that camera? How many hours am I going to need this and that? So I just barreled ahead and just bought my equipment because I thought it would be better. And of course, yes, technology, got to keep buying and keep buying. But I mean, it's the industry I've chosen. So, but other decisions that I made were, I thought I could do it all by myself. Then I realized right away, I don't know how to do budgets. Well, I just happened to have a cousin who did budgets, Kathy. So I called her up right away and I said, "Hey, Kath," I said, "You know what, can you help me with this?" And, I said, "I can take you for supper." Because when I started my business, I really, of course, couldn't really pay very well.
Yeah. Well, it's the growing pains of getting started.
Well,
right?
That's it,
yeah.
Definitely. And I soon found out that I had no skills in graphics whatsoever. If you saw one of my first productions, you'd know that. But I tried, and I did.
And you probably can still see it. It's out there on YouTube, I bet.
Yeah, we try not to show that one. I'd like to just redo it. But anyways, I found Jason Forsyth, who was a graphic artist.
Yeah.
And he started working for me right away. Yeah. He had no idea about video production, but he was an artist, and he did logos, and he did marketing stuff and websites and stuff like that, right? So
he began doing motion graphics for you, right?
And he learned that. Yeah, he decided, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to learn this too. So he started taking on graphic arts, and he's like, "Oh yeah, okay." Because he really liked it. So he actually worked with me for a lot of years. Yeah. And then, of course, another thing I discovered is I can't do this by myself, and that is when I talked to my nieces, because I was trying to keep it all in the family. It was always like, Dad really wanted us to have, like a baseball and soccer team. I decided to have a video production team. So, something.
So a good choice was to find a team, bring them together,
yes.
and be the leader of that team. That was...
Yeah. And and having them come in and teaching them, what I do, worked. We've been doing it for a while now, so I think we've done a pretty good job. So
23 years.
Yeah, 23 years we've been doing it, and we've produced quite a few videos, and we always get return clients, I guess you could say, right? Like, people do enjoy working with us, and I like to make it fun.
Learning it's cliche, but it's a lifelong pursuit if you're smart, right? You're continually learning, but especially in a highly technical field like video production.
Oh, gosh.
So how do you maintain currency as far as your understanding?
I don't know. Have I?
You seem to have.
I seem to have. Actually, Dana knows, because I'm like,
Dana knows.
There's another thing I've got to learn. Like, I thank goodness for YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube has helped me out a lot, because I look up a lot of stuff to try and figure out, some of my cameras and such.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is the industry I've chosen. And, to have my own business like this, I know it can be a little harder, of course, because you do have to go with the times. If you stay and you think, oh, okay, I'm just going to keep this camera is just perfect, you're going to get stagnant, right? So I don't even know how I do it sometimes. Like, I don't know if it just comes to me, like how some people are so talented where they can just, look at this piece of clay and make it into this beautiful pot. Yeah, I know me, it'd be this, like, because I just
That's
not
clay,
gifted that
Sandra,
way, right?
That's clay.
But when it comes to video production, it is a learning thing, and I'm constantly trying to keep up with it. Will I get into the red cameras? I don't know. Gosh, that's scary, right?
8K?
Like, there's just, 8K. I'm like, 4K. And, the industry is forever changing, and with it, we have to learn.
Yeah.
I do. And that is another great thing about what I do, is I have met so many people in the industry that I like to work with, not against. I like to bring them in, and I met a great computer guy just by chance, because I got tired of the ones I was taking the stuff into, and I've worked with him ever since. I mean, yourself, I met you. You still work with us today. Dwayne Thornhill will come out and help me if I ever need anything. I've met a great variety of people where I'm like, I can't figure this out. Hey, help me. And, so it's great, because I'm not a know-it-all. Don't even answer that. Got a lot of hecklers here.
They asked if they could be heckling, and I said, yeah.
Yeah, I know. But I do like to be just a know-it-some, because I do know some know-it-alls, and you're just like, they won't get a job again. They won't in this industry. You have to be able to work with people, and you have to be able to collaborate with people. I like to, if I find out there's another video production company in town, I want to meet them, and I want to know, what do you guys shoot with? What are you working on? Like, how come you use that edit system? That type of thing, instead of working against the grain, which can be very detrimental to a business, I think.
Collaboration, yeah, for sure. So with being in existence for 23 years, you've shot stuff that's gone from this format, and now we're doing it on this format, and now we're doing it on this format, and some of the stuff that was begun years ago has the risk of being lost, and some of the stuff you've shot is of cultural value to your community. So what are you doing along those lines?
Well, actually, funny you should say that, because
Not funny.
I know. But I do. I have a lot of tape. I have a lot of VHS. I have a lot of DVDs. I have a lot of those things when it first started. But I'm setting up a digitizing system now, and I just did purchase some new equipment to be able to store it. I did purchase something way back in the day. I remember going to NAB in Vegas.
Yep.
And they had this cache system, they call it, or whatever, for it's tape. You're actually going back to tape, but this tape can be shelved for 30 years. So I'm getting that unit put back in, because now I've got to update that, because now it's starting to get stagnant, right? So that's the whole thing. But again, I've been working with VidCom in Vancouver since day one. That's where I basically purchased all my equipment. and I still go to them.
So you build relationships with people in companies like that,
It's
right?
excellent. There's this one guy who's now doing his work out of his house, but I still take my stuff to him if I need him to do anything because I trust him. And he's in Richmond, but I trust him. Same with here, like Go Audio, Mike. I worked with him many times, and if I have any kind of audio issues, I talk to him, right? So, but that's like I say, building relationships in this industry. Did I answer your question? I can't remember what you asked. I tend to talk a lot.
I never noticed.
We did.
So wasn't this year's Chilliwack Independent Film Festival, it was 2024's Independent Film Festival, that you showed a documentary.
Yes.
The kidnapping of the stall, what was it called? The Lost...
It was a Lost Stories project that we got hired through the Saskatchewan University. They were doing 5 lost stories all across Canada. And out here, they Keith Carlson had told them, or I'm not sure exactly where. Well, Keith Carlson was working at the university, so I can only assume he's the one who told them the story about the kidnapped Stella boys from Hope, actually, is where the story starts. Not saying it was just Hope, but this is where this particular story started. So they had hired us to come out there and shoot this video, but they decided to do it where they were going to have us follow a carver, Terry Horn. He's a master carver, and I think he's the chief of Yakakuyus. He was going to carve this piece, and he came up with the design. And it was, the whole story started with a boy who got taken, and the father had got knocked out. I hope I'm telling this story correctly. He had got knocked out, so when he came to, he knew the people that had taken him, and he knew that these kids were being taken, and they would be taken to California, and they were going to become slaves out there. So he got on his canoe and got in his canoe, and he followed the paddle boat. And every time he got to the port where the paddle boat was, they had already gone. So he finally got to the very end, and they had told him, you can't go any further. You can't go out into the ocean or whatever. But he knew that his son had been kidnapped, and he was trying to tell this to the government. And they actually took it into like, oh, maybe this guy has some credibility here. Maybe this is true. If he got in his canoe and he went all the way, down to the, right where the ocean meets. So they did look into this, and sure enough, his son was in California. They said, no, he's already passed away, which was incorrect. He was still alive, but they just didn't want to give him back. And he did end up dying out there, and the father never did save his son. So with the carving, there's a carving in Hope that you can go and visit, and it's like a son and a father trying to touch hands. Yeah. Like, because he was just so close to trying to get his son back, because he knew his son was kidnapped, and he had heard that this kind of stuff had happened.
So let's talk a bit about the creative process for telling that story. Mm-hmm. How did that begin? Did you write the story out first of all, and how did you do it?
No, they had. What we did do is we interviewed important people for the story,
right?
And they told the story
in their words.
Yeah. So we would, interview them, or they would basically just roll with it. Like especially Keith Carlson and Sonny McKelsey. I'm trying to remember others that we interviewed on for that program. But what we did do was, it was like the carving was weaved into the whole documentary, right? Yeah. So we would follow this carving being built and tell the story of what happened to this boy when he was kidnapped.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The carving is it's under a little roof. It's up in Hope.
In the campsite. I'm trying to remember the name of the campsite. It's on the Tzeachten First Nation.
Yeah. Was that a career highlight for you to tell that story?
It really was. I think the first one that we did was the repatriation of Tikolatsa, which was a man that was turned to stone. And when we followed that, I found that very interesting. Like, to know that, the whole story is about cows who came around to the territory and would turn people into stone that were doing bad things. But this stone was found, and I don't know if you have the picture, but there is a picture of Tzeachten, and it has been repatriated to Stallo Nation. But it was found in a museum out in Seattle.
Yeah.
So that whole story I found really interesting, because they would tell the story of how he was turned into stone, and then us following, again, woven in, us following Tzeachtten's journey back home. Mm-hmm. So to me, I'm like, yes, the Lost Stories project was, unbelievable, because again, it was something that I didn't know. Mm-hmm. And again, that's probably why they call it Lost Stories. But it's, something that when you find out these things, it just makes you go, my God, to think this happened to our people and it was real, right?
Yeah. Sandra, I want to thank you for coming and being part of our Chilliwack Creative Commission. First of all, you're a contributing member of that, and coming here today and helping us build this creative community that we're working on here in Chilliwack. And we wish you tons and tons of more success. Sandra Bonner Pederson, everybody.
Oh, yeah, applause. Thanks, Tim. Okay, so do I just run off the stage now? Or?
No, stay put. That is the longest applause we've had for anybody.
Yeah, okay. Well, you kept it up there.
We had a featured creative back in the summer. His name was Jameson Isaac, and he was the electronic dance music composer, and he lives in Garrison Crossing, and he has a new album coming out tomorrow. So you might want to check that out if you're into creative people from Chilliwack. Talk to this camera now. Do you want to be part of our studio audience? Because these guys say it's a fun time to be here.
Yay.
Visit CreativeThirdThursdays.com for free tickets. And we close out the year of Creative Third Thursdays in December with Dylan Waitman of Musura, an online platform company dedicated to music education. They're offering comprehensive lessons for a variety of instruments and vocals. They're associated with Drumeo, which you may have heard of on YouTube. That's one of their projects. And so he's our featured creative in December. Anyway, for more about the Creative Commission, visit businessinchilliwack.com and search Creative Commission. What else can we do here?
Nothing.
Check out previous episodes of Creative Third Thursdays on YouTube. And also check, Jeff's getting thirsty. Check out our short versions that I mentioned earlier, and let's mingle some more. There's more beer in the kitchen, and cheers, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Cheers.